and welcome once again to Wars Going On. I'm Arcturus, and we are here on the Forerunner server to bring you the latest in what's going on in Watcher of Realms. As ever, this is a community-based podcast, and we are joined by Sebastiancanes, so please do remember to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. If you can hype as well, that does get help spread it to new creators. It's something which seems to be available on mobile devices, so you might not see it if you're looking at this on a PC. So you may notice that I'm sporting some nice merch here. Apparently, if you stand up and sing in front of a load of strangers, occasionally the developers will throw some merchandise your way. I don't think Sebastian's has arrived yet, but mine arrived the other day, and so I'm sporting it as, and I will get a brief unboxing video out in the next couple of days. Sebastian.
Yeah, I saw the logo. It looked, it looks very, very, very nice.
Yeah, it's nice too, with the anniversary, and on the back it's got the big splash screen from the loading with Moriden and Valara on, and it does have like Watcher of Realms in the bottom corner as a nice little flash, so people can see what it is.
Yeah, so no, mine has not arrived yet. At least I haven't seen anything come from China, so we'll see if it does arrive. Given complications with things being shipped over, but we'll see. We'll give it a while.
Yeah,
maybe he has to clear customs.
I imagine he's going to have to clear customs. They're trying to work out how you get paid, how to charge you tax on a free gift that's been sent. I mean, if they sent it as a sample, I mean, they can't not supposed to really charge on samples, right? I remember that Wheeze. Yeah. Okay, so this week there was a patch on Forerunners. It's introduced a few little changes and one really new big game mode that's going to be the real end game focus for the next little while. So the patch, it starts off with a bit of a buff to Moriden. Moriden's the limited summon who was around the time of the anniversary. Now they've reduced the charging stat time on his talent, bringing his Dark Infusion down from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. And overall on his ultimate, they've given him a 40% damage increase, going from 260 to 300, and then at max level it's 320 to 360. And then they've given him a bit more survivability on his A1. If you were fortunate enough to go A1, I went very deep and didn't get anything. And yeah, adds a bit of health regen in there. Now, a bit of a controversial one for the next one. So Faelin, if you may have fused her and forgotten about her, but she has been doing quite a lot of interesting things, certainly in Arena. She has this wide area of attack, and she's been able to pop things with her poisons and been doing lots of damage. And what they've done with this patch is they've introduced a timer effect on that, and they've triggered it so it can only be triggered one time every 3 seconds. I was speaking to Sebastian. You had some thoughts about this earlier in the week, didn't you, Sebastian?
So one of the things so this is how things are so screwed up in Arena, right? That everything that I'm doing right now as it pertains to Arena has to do with heroes that you really need to push the content to farm Apex coins. I was not aware that some people were using this kind of Faelin with esotericist type composition, I think. Yeah. It was to farm AoE, and some were saying that they could at least push into Plat 3 or something like that, just at least get 5 coins here and there. Apparently, to them, this is a nerf because she was supposed to be doing the damage over time and just take everything out that is coming in. And somebody actually went to the mechanics, like, if you keep your BP low enough where it doesn't scale too much, she can pretty much clear the first couple of waves really easy, and then you bring everybody else in and then just finish it off. So that's what I learned. And so when I saw that the change was the timer, it's essentially what I told you was like, God forbid that we can use Epics to farm Arena. So let's take Irene out of the equation. Let's take Mary out of the equation. Let's take this gal out of the equation. No, you gotta get lucky in the ancient summoning portal to get the hero that you need to farm this content, or and then here are new heroes that you can play with that are going to help you in arena, but you're gonna need luck in the ancient summoning portal. So
yeah, Valara or bust, right?
yeah, that's essentially what they're going. Well, not only that, but Ilang in Entair is certainly facilitating that as well. And this new hero, what's her name again? See, I can't even keep up with the news lately. But the new marksman, the piercer,
Elaris. No, Elaris is the healer. It's Cythera.
Yeah, it's Cythera. Yep. So she does immense amount of damage, and I think that they made her specifically for those the octopus in the anti-air, so you can bring those down really easily.
Well, I mean, I think if you're taking out like heavily damaged, heavily armored octopuses, I think she'll probably be good in Matrix as well, because there's lots of targets that need taking out quickly, so that will probably work quite well there.
Now for Matrix, they kind of steer you over to AoE stuff, but at least from some of the mechanics that I've read, it's like there is a possibility that you can bring in a single target here just to focus on the boss, and then you have auxiliary champions to focus on those waves that are coming at you. So
yeah,
but
we will spend a bit of time talking about Matrix in a little bit, but just to say, there is a new boss. It's really hard. And the reward scaling is massive. So on Semra Apocalypse 2, you kind of cap out at 120, and everything over that is a bonus. On this, the rewards start at 8k per phase, and they scale up to 320,000. So there is a massive opportunity for scaling this up over time. It's not going to be content which is people are getting max chests really early on. Even on global, even with your maxed out whale accounts, you're not going to be getting maxed out accounts rewards straight away. It's going to take you a little while, and there's going to be a lot of working out how to get the mechanics to work properly so people can get best rewards.
There's a couple of players that I can think of that are going to say hold my beer on that, and they'll probably get it within the first 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens there. But
not with the amount of damage that you have to put out on this. It's not going to be the first couple of weeks, and I don't think it's going to be one of those ones where not all the heroes are available yet. Especially because they're talking about this rework of the Northerners to be more AoE focused, then I think there's going to be some stuff to come there. So
we'll get to service, but going back to was it Vixera or Faelin? Faelin. Right?
Faelin, yeah,
Faelin. So essentially, it's just we don't want you using epics to farm easy apex coins. That's essentially what's coming down.
Yeah.
So if people want to, go into the dev in what do they call it, suggestions in Discord, and see if the devs actually speak of it. But if you actually want to have feedback on it, and you want to gripe about it and tell them why are you doing this, then that's the way to do it. It appears these days.
Yeah, they generally point you at the direction of providing feedback via the customer service teams or via the Discord channels if you do have feedback for them. And it may get fed back. It may go into the pool of things that they'll look at on a rainy day. But yeah, those are the pathways we have. So next up, new stages for Northerners and the Cultists in the faction trials. And I didn't manage to try the Cultists because it came in on Friday morning and I just didn't have the opportunity to try it. The Northerners ones are tough, definitely tough, and we'll have a quick look at those. Tower of Deception, they've added some new challenge stage 5 and a new hidden chamber have been added between the original stages of 15 and 16. So we'll just have a quick look at that and then dive in the war room and see what we can see there. I'm really bad at pushing this. So what we've got, hidden chamber 1, 15. So it looks like they've added a new phase of stages in here to try and scale how the damage is going up over time to make it a bit of a smoother curve, because it used to be a bit of a leap after you got to about 15 and it was suddenly a real ramp in difficulty. So I think they're trying to smooth that curve in difficulty up as you move up towards the later stages, but the end is still 35.
Anticipated, especially as this thing grows, right? And then they're gonna add more floors to it. So yeah, it's they're going to be adjusting that as it goes, like we've seen in many other games, right? I mean, usually when they open something like this up, it already has 100 levels. Right. So they just kind of threw it at people because people were complaining about not having enough content. So they said, well, here, start out with 25 and then we'll add it after that. So
let's just have a quick look at the stages for 13 and 14. So what you have here are two sort of spawn points on 13 and 14. And at the bottom, you have the shielded enemies that come in on the bottom of 12. You get them spawning from here. You have the opportunity to set up your defenses in this area, and then at the top you get a series of these fire crimson oozes coming out, and these guys are the ones that melt over time, so you don't technically need to attack them, but you do need to slow them down. So the top lane could be held by Mari and I with a lot of ice, just to slow everyone down, so you're not having to do very much, so you can concentrate all of your DPS on the bottom channel. I found the way to clear these bottom stages, this bottom channel on 13 and 14, was to have a defender and then two ranged fighters. I think I used Ardia and Lubu. You could use Valkyra and Ardia. You could probably use Elder behind a tank and then a Valkyra if that was what you had available to you. But you need ranged damage. And these guys have got those big shields that pop when they're coming in, these Fallen Templars. And so you can't if you are going to use mages, you need to think about where you're positioning them so they don't get hurt when that shield pops.
So this is probably where then Lynx and Fenris comes in, and especially if you're talking about slowing things down a little bit and then having long range damage, so nothing explodes in front of
Fenris with his pushback would be pretty useful, and again, Lynx with her ice field to slow everyone down would probably work quite well as well. So, definitely an opportunity there. Fenris or Lynx on this tile pointing that way would provide you some of that, and then you will need plenty of healing because they do really hit your tank really hard. So just think about that when you're putting your teams together. I was using a combination of Vortex and Gwendolyn to provide the shields, but there are other options. Midan's a good solid one. I think it does recommend Sadie, so you can use Sadie as well. So there's plenty of options there for providing strong healing and strong defense in that channel.
Okay, so people are probably going to be interested if there's any weird conditions. Like, do you need to get 3 mages, or is it pretty much
13 and 14, you just need to get through. You just need to survive. 15 starts to get weird. Ignore the tentacles; they don't exist. But what happens is you have the enemies spawning from this middle channel to start with, and then later on they'll spawn from the top ones and come across, and then a fire elemental appears in the top corner. That fire elemental was from one of the really early stages. I think it was around stage 7. Who used to appear when the two of these fire elementals fuse together. But now he comes in on the top. He does fire damage over time to everyone who's on the field, and you can just work on slowing the Crimson Oozes down so they're not doing anything, and then you just block this top and deal with the incoming damage from these fallen Templars and block and hold them up here. You can get away with like one tank here and then just holding up all the damage to try and stop this getting through. Actually, that's correction. You do need a tank up here because the fire elemental goes along this path. So yeah, you do need a second tank, but you don't need as much damage. You don't need as much there to stop him from doing what he's doing.
The condition of the stage is just don't die, right?
Yeah.
It's not deploy 3 mages, anything like that. It's just don't die.
It's when you get to 16, the stupidity kicks in. So 16 and 17 introduce a do not die mechanic. You can have no heroes die, and it gets really, really difficult because suddenly you're up against, rather than those defenders, you're up against Baron Salems, and these are Baron Salems on roids, because they will absolutely smash your Brockies, even with 100 plus HP, 100k plus HP of pool, with a Bastion ring on, with shields go all over him. They will just smash through him. At the top, you get these Crimson Oozes. So in the top and middle channel, you get the Crimson Oozes spawning. Those you can either block or slow down. As I said before, these guys do damage to themselves. So all you have to do is to slow them down for long enough that they don't reach the exit. A couple of ways to do that. You could use Mari, you can use I. And then you've got a way of just like providing control. Again, they will hit your tanks really, really hard, so you want to avoid them, too many of them reaching your defenders on that front. Down the bottom, I was using on stage 16. I was using Valkyra and Ardia and Valkyra and Ardia to provide extra damage. I did try and get a mage in there. I just ran out of cost because there's a lot of expensive units to try and get out really, really quickly, and there is no cost generation at the moment.
So there might have been a purpose to I becoming an order, besides just the fact that she put icicles down then.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you get I on this platform here or even further back, where she's got an opportunity to slow them down and lock them up with a really heavy ice field, then you've got some opportunity to kill them off just by holding them up. But you will need to get her out early, so she's got an intense ice field built up of stage 3 bombs, so that every time they are moving forward, they're getting frozen and held up. Because when you get to stage 17, you're getting and 16, they come out just from the Crimson Oozes just come out from the top. On stage 17, they come out. They come out from the top, and then they come out from the middle. On stage 17, they come out together. So you've got a lot more damage. You've got a lot more stuff to deal with. It's a lot harder to keep your units alive because your healers are having to work harder. So you need to find a way of stopping them for as long as possible. I was going for tanking and just holding them up. That wasn't the right strategy. I've now realized that I need to just freeze them with control, so I'll be looking at I and Mari for the top and just trying on keeping all of my DPS down the bottom, and maybe having someone like Malvira down the bottom here with her pull attack to try and pull them into her, anyone who's sort of a straggler near the end, so that she can lock them down and stop them getting to the crystal. But the really hard part is just keeping Rocky alive. That was the thing I was struggling with the most, because if you have any deaths, then you're not going to 3-star it.
Oh, you folks just got a tutorial, a brief tutorial.
18, I have no idea what it looks like. This is my first look at the map. It looks very similar to to what I was just saying about 15. But again, rather than dealing with the defenders, that just sort of you're dealing with the barons, and these guys are really, really tough to try and get through those shields. I'm sure there's a trick, but I don't know what it is yet. M damage shield. Yeah, don't know what it is, but it's a really, really tough shield. Yeah. Okay.
I notice anything on the cultist in terms of conditions or anything like that?
As I said, I didn't have an opportunity to look at the cultist at all, because it was only up for like an hour or so beforehand. But next week I'll have had an opportunity, so we'll be able to give you a bit more of a view about what's coming to on the cultist section of things. Associated with that, there are another couple of achievements. He says completely missing the achievements button, and there you go. You get one for clearing stage 15 of the northern faction development. I
think that the bigger one here is the addition of the hero pack that will give you a lord, in case you
so now what they do here is conquer. So once you get to gear raid 3, once you conquered 19 in gear raids 1, 2 and 3, they will throw this out at you, which is a lord pick. Now this is your opportunity to get an awakening or to pick up that one lord you don't have. Some people obviously will not be going for their A17 Venoma, and they'll be after something that's more suited to their team, while other people will be looking just to fill out their roster. So something with the layer that they don't have, the Morrigan they don't have, or the Haas A1 they desperately want for Gear Raid 2. Things like that. Yep. So stage 15 and stage 18 now of the faction trials give you some rewards. You get an opportunity to pick up some ancient summon stones, which is going to be really nice. But be prepared for a fight. They're definitely designed to be a bit more. 13 and 14 were fine. 15 was a quick let's stop and think about this. 16 was tough. 17 is horrible, and I imagine 18 is on the same sort of scale.
And if you made the wrong pick the first time, you get a free Kirby now.
Yeah, kind of. So now you have the opportunity to get
it for free. You get it for free. You just need to find 5 weak defenses. Come on, man.
Yeah,
it's free.
Yeah. So everyone gets a Kirby. Yeah. So everyone gets the opportunity now. You've got to find 5 get 5 successful attacks. So same condition to do it, but now rather than getting it only being able to pick one, they'll now give you both. So for 10 successful attacks, you're going to get access to these 2 heroes. For an early game player who's not that much into GVG, this is going to be transformative, because suddenly those crappy little spiders you've got with low BP affiliation are suddenly going to be tearing through defenses like nobody's business. I want to love the Frost Guardian, but he just isn't doing it, really. There's something missing, I think. And it might just be I don't have the Lord, and that's what the issue is. But this guy is just a monster.
Game development 101 according to Muntan. If something is busted, you give it to everybody.
Well, it's because they can't work out how to balance things, right? What is game balance? Okay, yeah, so on this is going to have more of an impact on global. They're expanding the Apex bracket to 500 players. I've already fed back to customer service team that on Forerunner that's a complete waste of time because there were something like 30 people who made Apex on Forerunner last week. Increasing it to 500 is not going to solve the problem on Forerunner. Anyway, some nice little more achievements on for doing Malric stuff. There are also some for doing Honor's Gauntlet, but who plays Honor's Gauntlet? And they've now made sure that AoE heroes are now able to affect invisible units, so that should be interesting. Especially, those Crimson Oozes that were on stage 16 and 17, they're invisible.
For which? For
the faction trials. Yeah.
Oh, you can't block them. What do you mean?
Well, no, you can block them. They'll walk up to your tank and they'll block and they'll reveal themselves, but you can't attack them until they're on your defender. Okay. So this is why you need someone like I, who freezes them, who can hopefully freeze them while they're invisible. That's going to be the challenge.
So they walk to the crystal. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's the majority of the patch notes. Then we get into the meat. So here we have, you've got Titanic Ruins, you've got Apocalypse 1, you've got Apocalypse 2, and now you've got Matrix 1. And Matrix 1 goes, as I said, from minimum 8k rewards all the way up to 320k rewards. And 320k rewards is going to be where you want it to go, because this is where the juicy things are. This is going to be where you're hunting down your advanced. Overall, this is going to be where you're hunting down your advanced re-gear recasting hammers. This is the ancient hammer, basically. This is the ancient refining hammer. Very ancient recasting hammer. It's going to be where your transmutation gems are. All the stuff from doing the hard Malric trials. This is another weekly opportunity to get your hands on these goodies.
Sorry, which chest did you click? Did you click the top?
This is the top chest. This is the top chest. This is a 320k chest. And the base one.
They're giving you shards for it, though.
Yeah. They're giving you 15 shards on that, but you can pick up. So, yeah. Okay. There's the opportunity to get extras if you take them out. Even on the base one, if you're taking the boss down, there is an opportunity to get the 5. In the same way as like you have the opportunity to get the sort of the gleaming meteorites, there's the opportunity to get 5 shards of that. So if your guild is downing the boss, of which you need about everyone in your guild to be scoring about 50k damage, which not straightforward, and we'll talk about that in a second. You're going to be looking at 5 shards of maybe 6 weeks, probably maybe a bit longer depending on your luck with what comes out. And that's on the base level chest. But if you're getting 50k ish, then you'll probably be hitting this chest. So that's kind of where you're going to be. Okay,
so this is just in terms of end game content. That's fine. If they just want to restrict this to a certain portion of the population, that's fine, I guess. Here's what right now the major it's not an obstacle, it is a problem. That is, at least in how whales and crackers are perceiving the end game content, are the drop rates, right? So definitely something happened to level 3s and level 4 keystones in terms of farming them. Something drastically happened because you're not getting them as frequent. I think a lot of that had to do with the 5 energy thing that got introduced. But then, if you're able to complete a level 3 or level 4, the rewards are awful in some circumstances.
Yeah.
So the odds are tilted, right? For you possibly not to get the top reward, the transmutation gem that you're chasing. This is my question that's going to come to this. Is that shard acquisition, what is that drop rate? Even if you get top chest, what's going to be the drop rate of getting that? Because I'm going to tell you, a player that is able to cap it or get close to it and, is investing the time to do it, and they open up that weekly chest and they don't see that, they're going to get frustrated.
Oh,
because
100%.
that is the maker that they're going to go for. So again, and this is something that I encourage people to ask, because other games do it. Go try out other RPG style gacha games. Look at the index for all the rewards. There are distribution odds for each one of the rewards. And if it is not in game, at least they give you the accessibility. You go into their website. Now, you and I have always joked about Watcher of Realms or Moontongue having problems with websites, but I would think that it would be really easy for them to just lay out a table of here are the rates for all our rewards. It's not, I don't know why they feel like they need to hide it, but just be transparent in that. It's like every time you click on that chest, here's the chance that you're going to get. At least people then have the general idea of, okay, if I only have a 0.1% chance to get this, how much effort do I want to put into it? And I think that that's part of why they don't want to release this stuff. But eventually you'll see. You're going to hear grumblings about what the rates are for some of these top rewards.
On the topic of maintenance websites, so I can't show you this because I'm running an emulator and it doesn't work in an emulator. But earlier in the week, there was like a mini update where they said player launch announcements and player center launch announcement. And it's between the 2nd of September and the 2nd of November, where it's basically the website that they used during the W Gold controversy. They've reinstated, and you come into it through the player center here. And if you're playing on a mobile device, you've praised the Moonton Tire gods, you've made your sacrifices to Valderon, you've begged forgiveness from Praetus, then maybe, if you're really, really lucky, it will appear here. I had to reinstall the game, connect via a VPN, clear the cache, clear all game storage in order for it to connect and download the appropriate files to make this thing appear.
And on your mobile device.
This is on my mobile device, and I had to, and I was like trying to get customer service to like get it into the head that this was not working and they'd done something wrong, and they were just like, "Oh, you've got putting the right address in. Have you tried deleting the game and reinstalling it?" And it was like, "But why? It's a website." And they couldn't give me a valid connection. I think the only thing that I can come up with is there's some sort of region locking that they've managed to put on the website, and if you don't approach it from the right way, it doesn't ping and get the right information. The nice thing about it is that it can tell you exactly how many days you've been playing the game, or the bad thing, depending if you're upset about it. And anyway, you log in daily, you click a button, you'll get some rewards. They're pretty Mickey Mouse rewards, but this was where the W Gold was originally given from. Okay, this is an opportunity to head back, and they're giving out, once you've logged in, get up to about 120 points a week. After 2 weeks, 2 and a bit weeks, you'll be at get 300 points if you're doing it daily, and you'll get 400 W Gold just from logging into the game on your mobile device. And you'll get clicking a couple of buttons, and there you go. You'll get some free W Gold.
Okay, but you just gotta be able to link it on the game or get it to come up.
Yeah. As I say, I fought with customer service for 2 days to try and get myself connected to this. Slap Bunny was was trying at the same time. I don't know if he was in discussion with customer service, but I pointed them in his direction and said he's struggling to connect as well. And they kind of went, "Oh, we'll go and look at it." But I don't think they actually know how they've managed to screw it up, but they have.
I admire your patience and deal with them because I lost mine. I don't even bother clicking that button because there's just one person right now that gets all my wrath sometimes because whoever's behind that button on the game, they don't know, they don't have a clue sometimes. So yeah, I admire your patience to try to resolve that. And you and Slap tried to do that. Oh man.
Yeah. So,
all right. So we'll just wait for the Russians to figure out a way to collect it all in once.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, Zerbus. So I would kind of break this down in like go through the skills here, but it's kind of a little bit odd but the key takeaway from this is the fact that most of the incoming damage is from the rift gates that summon and the enemies that come out of those, and you have to deal with them. But it's really brutal. And I'm going to try just load one of these up and start it on auto, but I'm going to dive in and take over. No, hit the wrong button. So,
all right, hold on.
First things first.
Explain to people the interface. The interface that you showed first. Yeah. Okay,
so what we have here, there's two teams. You have to have a team which is... Okay, there are two forms that the boss has. One, which is the bulwark mode, can only receive magic damage. I actually think they've named them incorrectly, but that's just me. And the second form is the spellbane mode, which can only take physical damage. The steer we have had from hints in dev interviews is that they wanted something that was more AoE damage focused. So it's primarily bringing in your AoE damage dealers, and you're going to be looking for things which can do lots of damage on their own as and hold. And I'm going to dive into one of these fights. But sorry, what you need to do is have 20 units geared. This is not a case of you can have one set of good gear and move it between your runs. It's you need 20 solid gear sets for your heroes and artifacts and the like. So this is Honor's Gauntlet all over again, but there is actually a purpose to do this because the rewards are pretty tasty.
But you're setting up the first time, right? And it is then supposed to save the gear and the artifacts.
Yes.
Once you do... Okay.
Each hero can only participate in one battle where gear cannot be shared between the two teams. Once the battle begins, heroes and gear will be locked. So if you set a team here and you decide, actually my magic team are absolutely on form, I'm going to save it, you then cannot change your physical damage team. So if you don't have them fully geared, and you think, oh, I'll just do my magic attacks and then I'll go and set my physical. No. You have to set and preset the gear for both teams before you do anything. Once you've done that, you can either go in and hit update gear, or you can come in and fight. And there's two different forms, as you can see: bulwark form, spellbane form. I still think they've named them wrong. And yet you can't, heroes are locked in the same way as the other mode. And then you come in and you click fight. I'm just going to click auto, but I'm going to pause it and take control because I want to talk about it. So some nice new splash screens. Okay, so it loads up. Okay, I'm going to stop here and pause it. So what we have here The first thing you're going to notice is you've got very few ground tiles. You've got 2 on either side of this middle thing. You've got 1 in the middle, and then you've got a couple which are back down here. And you've got these portals, which is glowing purple circles you can just about see on the side here, that are where you get ads coming in, which the boss will absorb and cause you a world of pain if you don't deal with them in time. So you kind of want to get it all set up. You want to have units on both sides dealing with things. And it's just really quick trying to deal with everything. Oh, I haven't got this set quite right. But anyway, you can kind of get the idea that there's a lot to deal with.
Okay, but then you're getting damage from all sides, right?
Yeah, you get damage from all sides. You've got all these ads to deal with. You've got bosses coming in. You've got targets over here who are, if you don't deal with them, are absorbed by the boss. Let's just go to the monster manual. Okay, so it starts with 2 rift gates. Every so often, every go through a phase, you get up to 6. He opens 2 more rift gates. So there's a maximum of 6 rift gates opened. When all 6 are opened, that's it, game over. Each time the Titan triggers unyielding, it goes into an emergency recharge state. After the recharge state ends, he undergoes evolution, gaining damage. So that's like the overdrive mode, is the apocalypse version. There's the annihilation pulse, which deals damage to all units on the battlefield twice. Second time inflicts a dispellable energy erosion, and the number of stacks increases with the Titan's phase and can be dispelled. So you will need to bring a cleanser on every team. The next bit is this chain fission, which summons reinforcements. Like, if you eliminate them in time, then he gets overloaded. If you don't, he absorbs them and he will wipe out a lot of your team. The really nasty one is this focus strike. This will melt any high HP unit on the field. It can be your A5 Toreador, it can be your Brockier with all the HP in the world. He will just annihilate it. You need to be watching it for when he applies that, and have your healers ulting so that, or dropping wood elves or something, just to try and keep him alive while that's going off for a couple of seconds. Weaken state, takes more damage, standard method, takes redeployment penalty, same as the other apocalypse, and when any hero triggers death immunity or unyielding, their rage and attack will be reduced for some time. So you get weakened if you enter an unyielded state. Not that most of the heroes entering unyielding are like doing a lot of that, but there you go. And then it's fast as well. Maybe I'm just getting old, but there is a lot going on in this battle all the time. So that's the chain fission. So these 2 will probably get absorbed. And here come the enemies. And we've got big stuff blowing in from the sides. There we go. So a couple of them got absorbed. Erlang's going to distract them all. Annihilation pulse. I get that heal out. Yeah, so this is what it's like, and it just builds up and builds up and builds up over time. certain units, but AoE units are going to be the ones which do the best here. So they're going to be the ones who are able to manage the incoming damage. They're going to be the ones who can deal with. It's actually going surprisingly well for once. There we go. We've got a bit of opportunity to get some hits on the boss. Oh, and here comes the next wave. So we've got 2 more rift gates now open down the bottom here. We've got 4 rift gates open. And as you can see, they just keep coming. There we go. There's 6 rift gates open now, so we've got a lot of stuff coming in.
So essentially what happens is if you cannot overcome the waves, the boss will absorb them and he gains attributes, right? And then
exactly that.
More powerful.
And there we go. Try and get my heals out to protect Brock here, because you need to keep him alive. Oh boy, this is where it starts to get painful.
And then it has the same mechanic as Semra, where the highest HP hero get targeted. So you gotta push that you can stomach that.
Oh, there goes Brocky. So it's now a matter of time to how much HP, how much damage I can do before I'm completely wiped out by this.
So interesting. So this is kind of the idea that I also had from the Forerunner account. Whatever I was able to do with it. I didn't publish anything yet because I really don't have the mechanics down yet. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking that it would eventually lead to. It's just trying to sustain, clear the waves, get everything out of the way.
Yeah. So in theory, you can get up to 3. You could say, do you know what? I'm just going to focus on physical, or I'm just going to focus on magic and try and push as high as you can on that phase to get the best chest you could. But ultimately, I think it's going to be tuned in such a way that we're not supposed to be able to get 320 on this on a single damage type for some time. People will try and prove me wrong. I'm sure they will.
Okay. Let's just point of clarification here, because it's going to be something that I don't think people will appreciate. So let's say you lock this key, right?
I'm willing to do that. Yeah.
Well, you didn't have to, but
no. I need to do it anyway. So.
Okay, if you go to the other interface then, and then you want to run that key, as of now, you can no longer switch gear. Whatever gear they have right now is what you're running with, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this adjust team button is now grayed out. I cannot change that team. I cannot change that gear. I cannot change the units.
Yeah.
You have to have made your mind up before you press go on the first one.
That was the one thing that I think, I don't know, some people are going to get frustrated by. Because like you said, it's like Honor's Gauntlet. But yeah, so essentially it's like you have to make a decision as to which roster you think is going to do better and where you want your best gear situated, where you want your best artifact situated, and then go with what you get, essentially, right? Because right now you just got 6,000, so now you're going to try to push as much as you can with the magic heroes to try to get as much can out of it. So then you can get the second chest. Was it 8 and 20? Is that what I said?
Yeah, I'm not 8 and 40. So I'm not going to get very far today, just because I've not had the time to explore with it. Some people are saying that they've had. Let me just pull up the global scores. For some reason, it's got really buggy loading times, and this will take ages. But the key takeaway is that a lot of people are not running full Lord, 2 Lords in the teams, because they're finding that you're getting the wrong damage type. So they'd much rather take another AoE damage unit than bring in a Lord, because that's what's more beneficial to them. So what we're seeing is that some people, certainly within the guild, are not running 2 lords. They're using a single one lord, and then they are. So, for example, Heretic here is only using on one of his teams is only using 1 lord, because he'd much rather have the extra unit on the field to bring in more damage. And some people are saying that people like Leia aren't contributing a great deal, so they're better to bring in a different unit. But it's nice because an opportunity to bring in different heroes. See, Beatrix is doing particularly well. Some people are finding Arrogance are doing well. But yeah, it's obviously Valera is amazing at holding down a one side. Draylin is really, really solid. Even Zealous, there you go, people. Zealous is able to be used in this new boss. Okay, and Lewis he wouldn't have got a great deal of damage out of him, but with his upgrade in the most recent patch, he now provides slows, and Zealous provides a massive AoE slow. So you'll be able to use that to control the ads as they're moving through the field, and provide vulnerability to anything in it. So that's providing you an opportunity to do more damage to the boss. And look at this, A5 Cratch deployed as well. Opportunity for some troll teams to be done, but yeah, there's definitely some fun to be had while we learn this. But there are very, very few ground tiles. So the units that really dominated previously, like Sun Wukong and Kigiri, will still be able to do damage, but they just won't be able to do as much damage as they had done previously.
Yeah, but I'm still seeing, like the new heroes are Ilang, Nisa are having a
I definitely found that I was surprised by how good Erlang was actually, which is why he's in my team. Mostly, I think, because he's able to hit so many units at once with his AoE attacks. Well, you see, here's somebody who who set their magic team and went all in on magic and didn't set any physical.
Probably because he realized that it locked him up, right?
Yeah.
And then he couldn't.
Well, if he'd only put 1 unit in, then because he may not have realized what he'd done. But anyway, yeah. You've got to be able to have 20 units fully geared up before you go anywhere.
Okay, so essentially, I think, unless I'm wrong, you're going to have a set of heroes that are going to be focusing on doing as much damage to the boss as you can, and then you're going to need support heroes to make sure you stay alive. And you're also going to have a subset of heroes to help you control the waves, right? So controlling DPS type of thing.
You probably didn't see particularly well in that run I just did. With the bulk of my damage was actually facing outwards. It wasn't focused on the boss at all, and it was more involved in concentrating on the mobs.
So the units that you had on top facing the boss, right? So did you just?
No, they were facing out. They were facing out.
All right.
Just because you need to stop the mobs getting to the boss, and you've only got a very small range in there to deal with them. I did find that finding a good place for the defender was tricky. I didn't find that putting the defender right in the middle was actually that good, because the defender couldn't then gain any rage regen from attacking, because he's out of range of the boss, he's out of range of the enemies, and he just died really, really quickly. So it's a bit of trial and error with positioning. It's all very, very new. It's not all been mapped out yet, but making sure that you can cover the sides with some CC and a lot of damage is going to be key to this. And at the same time, being able to absorb a lot of damage, either through damage mitigation, like with Faelin or Draelin, or Tallulah, someone like that. You're going to need cleanses to deal with the incoming debuffs, and you're going to need to be able to, well, just survive basically with the incoming amount of damage and keep those heals going. So it's got a bit like Abyss on steroids, but with different damage types. Rather than it being a very single target, it's all about AoE damage to take down the swarms.
All right. I don't want to make the episode too long, but in terms, you did the magic or you did the physical?
I did the physical, yeah.
Physical. Okay, because I was going to say with the physical, I was looking at the roster of possible heroes that you can use, especially AoE heroes, and there isn't a whole lot of them, right? It's, especially in the legendary side.
No.
But you were able to, at least they modified Elder, and possibly we know why now. And you have Ardea, Nyx, Iobar,
yeah,
and then everything support, right?
So I have seen people use, the rest was in support. I used Nizar as well, because I got him A1, so I've got some nice stuns in that as well. So again, providing a bit of support on that side. And I've got the opportunity to get some more. I possibly didn't quite choose. I did and ah between having Nyx or having Kai, because obviously he's got his traps, which would be quite useful in this map, providing again a bit more CC. And he's got a big. But I was looking at doing like a Star Piercer team, but I couldn't get enough units to really make a strong Star Piercer team, and I just ended up with Erlang and Nyx and Tallulah. Ivar doesn't really bring a lot because he's single target, so you're kind of hoping that he kills something off quickly with his damage when he's ignoring damage, that you can then move on to the next target really quickly. But you really want to be hitting multiple targets at once to try and bring them down as fast as possible.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some type of composition here where you can also bring in like you could probably bring in Torodor as your lord, and then have Hatchet. I don't know. You said that there were many ground tiles available.
No, there's not really. So you can just. Okay, it's not letting me show it because I've locked the map. So there's a couple of ground tiles down here. There's a couple of ground tiles down here. There's two at the front, and there's one in the middle. And these ones in front of the spawn point are not available for deploying on.
Okay.
Now you might be able to spawn traps on there, so you might be able to spawn eye bombs, or you might be able to spawn Kai traps, but you can't place units over here. And you've got to think about the positioning of your healers as well, because they've got to be able to deal with the fact you've got quite spread out units here. So Layla has got a good heal range. You've got Faelin, who's got a big heal range. You could even use a Diao-chan in a healing stance to provide that healing pool around this central tile.
Okay. I'm just thinking of ways because I'm trying to think of the easily accessible heroes, and then I'm going to say this quote unquote, but is there a possibility of a free to play even get a chance to get the first chest here? Is essentially what's coming down to.
Yeah, and I think you might be able to do something with some of the recent epic cultists. If you did quite well with the cultists, so if let's just have a quick go to the gallery, or even my heroes.
Because I'm trying to look at roster, the gallery, and it's like there isn't a whole lot of choices when it comes to the physical side. To the magic side, there might be some possibilities.
So magic side, from an epic stance, you've got Iona, who is probably actually going to work out pretty well. She's got her quite a long ultimate. She provides slow. She does a lot of damage. There's Greed's range is probably not very good for this. But you've got Abizu, who does nice burst damage when there's lots of units in her range. We've got Faelin, who we've already discussed, who's got a really nice shotgun blast range, but she has just been adjusted on her usability. You could try running a Siren as a budget version of Zealous, but he will forever be a more expensive version of Zealous, who doesn't do the job anywhere near as well. Don't know if you could. Yeah. Actually, I wonder if you could use Ardith as a HP tank, because he does health drain. So if you get him up near the boss and you stack a load of HP on him, he's going to be draining HP from the try and drain HP from the boss during his ultimate, and you might survive the incoming damage. He doesn't have unyielding, which makes him a little bit riskier to use, but it's an option. But yeah, AoE physical damage is somewhat limited. I mean, Magmus doesn't really have the range to be usable in this content, unless it just doesn't have the range. Talon
made end game content, and there are limitations of which accounts are going to be able to witness this, right? It's going to be one, you have to have a very robust cast of characters, and then you have to have enough gear to be able to, put 20 heroes together. If you want to bring 20, they're probably going to say the same thing that they said during the Honors Gauntlet. We're giving you the option to bring 20, but you don't have to bring 20.
you saw the guy who got 48k on the Magic and looked at the physical. It's like, nah,
I'll skip this week. So so essentially that's what's gonna you may get a response from them. So
I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to take a lot of unpicking. We know there are new heroes coming. We've seen, so the big content creators have put out the details of the 3 who are coming soon. Obviously, remember on Thursday, Diao-chan is a 200 limited summon. So everyone's going to be either getting her or pushing for her on an awakening. I'm going to be getting her A2, so that's that extra 300 attack, which means Arena is going to be even more hellish because everyone's going to have her A2. And we will see how the rest of the week goes. But that was really all I wanted to cover today. I'm going to go and spend a bit of time trying to improve on my shocking run that's auto-saved in the Matrix, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.